Hey, this is Scott of photography.bonza.com. Today I'm going to talk about my whole process that I use when editing large photo sets. That's things like events, conventions, any type of photo session that I do that was, quite a large amount of photos. I use Adobe Photoshop with Bridge. And I also do some actions and batch process. So I'll go through that and you can see, maybe you'll find it interesting enough to try it out. I'm in Adobe Bridge right now. I shoot RAW, so the process generally relies on using RAW, but you can also potentially do it with JPEGs if you modify your process a little bit. First off, if we go into the edit menu and then preferences, there is a setting here. It says double click edits, camera raw, settings in Bridge. I have that checked. It's normally not checked. So what happens when I double click on this photo, camera raw opens up in Bridge instead of opening up Photoshop and then opening up camera raw. So I'm in Bridge, I edit my photos here, I change the exposure, recovery, I'll change all these settings here to suit my taste. I can generally achieve what I want with just this. Going into Photoshop and editing the images one by one, but with all those tools, is a lot more time intensive. With Camera Raw, I can generally get exactly what I want. It has a large amount of settings. This is version 5. I mean, Camera Raw 6.7, but in Photoshop 5.1, that version approximately. So you can achieve a lot here. Let's say I wanted to add some fill light, felt kind of dark. The blacks give it more of a strong pop contrast to the image. You can also change the standard contrast. And clarity improves not necessarily the sharpness, but the sharper look to it. See how the definition of the lines and everything. I don't generally do too much vibrance or saturation, but those are there for you. And of course, white balance is big when you're doing photos inside and under certain lighting conditions. In RAW, of course, it's not really fixed into the file, so you can change that very easily in Camera Raw. Other settings I might go into here with noise reduction. I might do for high ISO images. I might go around 50% for the luminance and color properties in the noise reduction. That's in the third tab here. It says detail. Otherwise, there are lens corrections. I don't necessarily do that. Probably wouldn't spend that amount of effort unless I really wanted to make a single photo look a certain way. What you can do here as well is save presets of your raw edits. If your images are close enough to the same situation, you can set a preset and then you just do a one click and then it changes all those settings. I've used that in the past, but generally I will edit every single raw file by itself. And then you can just click done. You can also select multiple files, hold the shift key down on your keyboard and it selects multiple. You can also use your arrow keys while holding shift. Same thing. And then you just double click on one of the images, opens up Camera Raw again with them on the side here. So what you can also do is use select all. So, whoops. One of them was an image, so that's what that pop-up was. You can click select all and apply some type of simple change like noise reduction to every single image, because you wouldn't want to do that for each one individually. Probably be a similar process if they were shot in the same conditions, with around the same ISO. Let's see, so you can select multiples by clicking on one, holding the shift key, and then clicking down to select multiple, and then you can apply some type of edit to that small group. That works well. And then you just click done or cancel. Cancel will of course cancel out all of the changes that you made, or done to finish that group out. And I generally will edit a small group at once, and then I go to the next small group and then edit those. Very simple. It says, do I want to open 10 files? And it's, in this situation with Camera Raw, it's fine to open a large group. So you can see I must have quite a few video files in this set. What you can also do is sort this by the file type, and then you can get rid of the movie files or whatever. I might make a new folder and call it NG for not good, and then take all of the images that I don't like and stick them in there. That way when I do my batch process, I won't be saving the JPEGs of the files, the images that I don't want. That's generally what I do, is I just make a separate folder for the junk, basically. So that's pretty much it for Bridge, and that's most of the edit process. So you're in Photoshop and you want to edit, or actually batch process, the images that you just edited in Bridge. What you can do here is use an action as well as an automated process, because we already did the edits and the images look like how we want them to look, and we just need to turn them into JPEG or some type of format that's easily usable, because of course the raw file isn't. You want to open up, a random image. You only need to open up one. So this is a raw file, and we open that in Photoshop. All of the edits would be applied because we did that in Bridge with Camera Raw previously. Now I already have some, actually I don't think I switched my operating system recently, so I don't have my old actions, but I can do this here. So generally what I do with my gallery is that I just upload a full-size JPEG, because the gallery that I use does all the processing itself. It makes multiple sizes, it adds watermarks and all that. If you don't have something like that, you can do the watermark process here with an action, or whatever you like. So I will just call this basic. Here I should go over this. This is the actions button. You just click on that and it opens up, and then it shows you a list of default actions, but I just made that basic one by clicking this little button here for a new action. Just give it a name. You can also give it a function key, but we don't really need that in this case. You've got the record button, which is red, and the stop button. It's just like an audio player. So I'll click record and it's running. Whatever you do here to this image will be saved in the process. So I don't really need to apply any type of adjustment because I already did that in Camera Raw. I will just go File, Save As, and then select JPEG. You can also do this with the Save for Web, but in this case I want the full deal. And then you can see I have the sRGB color space selected. That's in the settings. It's a good idea to use sRGB. I made a previous video about that because it's the best color space for general use. And then what you want is an area of your disk drive to save all of the files that we're going to automatically create. So I'll just make a new folder, and I just have a photos directory. So I'll call that JPEGs. And then this is good how it is. I leave the file name as is. Just click save, and I'll probably do full quality in this case. Just click OK. And then the other important thing is to close this, and then click no, where it says if you want to save it. So you can see our basic thing here. You want to click this stop button. So we have basic, which is what I named it, and you've got the save step and the close step. Under the save step, we can expand it. It says save as JPEG quality 12 with copy, and then the close step just says don't save it as anything else, close the file. So that's our simple action. So we've got that. Now we go into the file menu, automate, batch, and here is our batch process. We select the action that we just created, which is called basic. You can have sets of actions, but right now this just has default grouping. And then I click basic, and that's so for every image in a directory, our action will be executed on that. Then you choose the folder that you want. Let's see, in my case, I recently changed my operating system, so remembering where things are takes a second. Photos. Let's see. So I had been editing these graffiti images, and then you can see it shows a full path to that. And I do not want to include subfolders, but you can do that if you want. You would probably want to click the suppress file open options dialog as well as the suppress color warnings, because that could cause issues. Here we will change the destination to another folder, and then in this case we put it into the one that we had previously made. This step is probably not necessary because the action itself is defined to save in a certain directory. So you can override that if you want, but I'm just going to set this in case it doesn't function. So I save that into my photo area, and it just says photos JPEGs, which was the folder that I saved it into. In this case, I'm not going to change the document name. Well, you can also override the action save as command. I'll just add compatibility for that. And here with the errors, just say log errors to file instead of stop on error. So that's basically it. Once I click OK, it will be processing every single raw file in that directory. Let's see. So you'll see it run. Just twiddle my thumbs for a second. Let me open up let's see. So I'm navigating to the photo area that I am having it automatically batch process. So as you can see in the background, the images are being loaded, saved as full quality JPEGs, full size, and then closed. So one file is being opened, it's being processed, and then it's being closed. and it's showing up in this directory, so I can easily look at this image that finished. And as you can see, it is a full-size JPEG. That's about it. All I do next is I give them a once-over by hand in just a general folder window, and then I will open up my upload process and then do that and upload them to my gallery. So if you have any questions, let me know, or if you have some of your own techniques, feel free to put that in the comments, and maybe I'll try them out, see how they work. Thanks.